Hello, everyone. My name is Latrell Armstrong. I'm one of the executive trainers with Focus Training, and I have a special guest here, Andrew. Andrew Gulcher, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. My name is Andrew Gultra. I'm the Director of Merchandising here at Uline. I oversee our merchandising and purchasing functions.
Great. And I can tell with that position that sometimes it can be a stressful environment at times, maybe even in different parts of the year. And that's why we're going to focus on the stress management that you have set in place just within the company and then your personal, just with your personal life. And so just to kick it off with the first question, I would like to know, how have you helped employees to manage stress within the past year?
Well, it certainly has been quite a year for stress, right? And I think what we learned over the years is communication is probably one of the most important things, and so vital at a time where everybody feels like they're dealing with things both at home and at work. And we've just tried to really make sure that the lines of communication are open, that we're listening, that people feel like they can share what they're dealing with, and you can have a good dialogue real time, day in, day out.
I like that. I like the fact that you said have that communication real time, which is extremely important. And like you said, it has been an interesting year or so. Uh, we'll just say. And so, do you have any specific techniques that leaders can use to navigate teams and employees through this stressful time?
I think that one of the techniques is just making sure you're doing those daily touch bases with your people. I think getting the group together as a group or doing large Zoom meetings is good, but I think being able to check in one-on-one and having that personal communication, hearing what their main objectives are for the day or week, and trying to help manage or help them manage their workload. And if they're feeling stressed about a project, try to, as a leader, see if there's ways that you can help mitigate, add additional resources, or think about ways you can support them and champion their project to take some of the load off of them.
Yes, I love that open line of communication, because I know when I'm stressed, it's always good that I feel comfortable being able to talk to my manager or superior and know that they're listening and being able to help. So I can share how that can help within the company, knowing that if you are in that stressful time, you do have someone at the company that you can talk to, and they will actually listen, which is the biggest part of that.
Absolutely. And I also think another piece of it is being a good role model. I think part of stress management for an entire team is if you can be a leader and exemplify what it means to be able to manage your own time well and handle stress well yourself. I think that really sets a tone for the rest of the group and makes them feel better about the team or organization.
Yes, and with that, actually, I'm glad you said that. Because with that, I want to kind of ask specifically within your company, how or when does stress surface in your professional environment, and what do you do to mitigate that?
Well, I mean, you think about stressors as things that are within your control and things that aren't in your control. And certainly we've all been dealing for the last 2 years with a lot of things that aren't in our control. And I think those are the times where really, it's something where you have to deal with things as they come, and you have to give yourself permission to realize that there are going to be things that happen that you can't control. And it's more about how you react to those things and how you let yourself feel about those situations that either can exacerbate the stress or calm you down. And I think it's important to sort of check in with yourself and think about, is this something that I've created, or is it something that's happened that now I need to react to, and then try and put a plan together to how best react to it, and pull in resources, ask other people, communicate like we talked about, and think about the best way to tackle what gets put in front of you, because that's the best we can do.
Do you think stress can be a positive contributor to one's personal journey? And how has or does that translate for you?
Absolutely. I think the typical feeling around stress is that it's a negative and that it's It can be a toxic sort of situation, and it doesn't have to be that. I completely agree. I think a certain element of stress is infused in any sort of stretch situation. And I think to grow as individuals, or to grow as an organization, a little bit of stress is a part of that growing time period. And so I think it's about how the outlook or the mentality you take when you feel the stress building. I played sports all my life, and I think whenever you kind of get into a game or a tight situation in sports, you feel that stress, and I think you learn to sort of harness it and embrace it and think about how are you going to react to it. And I think the more situations like that you put yourself in, the better you are understanding it, internalizing it, and knowing how to react to it. And so I think it's something to watch, because you can go too far. But I think if you sort of feel it and you're able to kind of find that right moment, it can really be energizing. And I think if you reflect on it and realize that you're pushing your boundaries and you're growing as an individual, that's a good way to think about it.
And I like that you touched back to when you played sports back in college or post-college. And I want to know, how did you personally manage that internal stress? And is it the same now as an adult, those same techniques you use to manage your personal internal stress?
Yeah, I don't know if it's changed a whole lot. I mean, I think that, they're both physical and mental stressors in life. And I think one of the things, great techniques, I think that we all hear a lot about is just well-being, the physical well-being, doing the things that put you in a good spot, getting enough sleep at night, healthy lifestyle, exercise, are all things that kind of tee you up to mentally be able to handle stressors at the workplace. So I think that's rolled over from being in school and athletics right into the my professional life. So I think they've all been there. And then you just layer in the professional side of it, and really being reflective and thinking about how to map out your time and think about how much have I committed to, and am I overcommitted? And that is also a very powerful way to manage stress, is to really think proactively about how much do I have on my plate? Is it too much? Should I be asking for help? And if you're able to really self-diagnose that way, that's a great way to be able to put yourself in a better situation.
It seems like a lot of things that I've heard you go back to communication in some form or fashion, being vulnerable, or just being open to asking for help, or just making sure that you're able to communicate when there are stressful moments around you, whether it's personal or within your employment. And I think that's really helpful, that people need to understand when you're stressed, it should not be an isolated thing. You need to be able to communicate that. So there could be people that can help you, even if you feel like you can't help yourself. There may be someone that you could talk to that can give you some information to kind of make you relax a little bit and get a clearer thought process, so you can handle that stressful situation.
Yeah, it's really true. I'm fortunate to work with a lot of very high performing, very motivated people. And I think if you are one of those people that is driven, you want to take on things and you want to feel like you could shoulder it. And, at a certain point, I think everybody can, but at a certain point, you got to be able to raise your hand and ask for help. And honestly, I think that shows even a higher level of maturity and ability to grow, if you can do that and not try and just shoulder it all.